we are sitting down with Sugar Rashad. Listen, we did this in Arizona. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
We sat down in Arizona,
yeah.
and now you're here. Glad to have you here out in New Orleans. How you liking New Orleans so far?
Man, it's cool, man. You know, New Orleans is for me the real Sin City. You know it's the real Sin City. But I like it out here, man.
We're gonna have to make this a trend. Every Super Bowl, we got to sit down and talk.
We got to.
Okay, we missed Vegas, so but we're gonna do this every year now.
We got to.
So now, UFC. What do you think about it so far? Where's it heading in the direction?
I think it's heading in a good direction. You know, it's expanding. You know, it's now in cahoots with the wrestling as far as like
Fightful, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So with the same kind of promoting style, you know, they're getting a lot of shows. The popularity's growing. They got some interesting characters, but I feel like there's a lot of shows to watch. You know what I'm saying? A lot of events going on, and I feel it kind of takes away from some of the bigger shows that they do have because there's not the build up, there's not the anticipation.
Now, okay, so the Fightful thing. So it's basically UFC, WWE. You guys are kind of like all under one roof.
Yep, under the same umbrella.
So like they could call you to come be in the Royal Rumble. You can come be in the Royal Rumble next year.
Yeah, they could.
Or you can just pop up at WrestleMania anytime.
Yeah, they definitely could. They definitely could.
So now, as far as fighting goes, you know, UFC, we haven't heard of really too many big name fighters. Who's like, if you had to say it right now, who you think is kind of like at the top of their game?
Top of the game right now?
Men's, I don't.
Yeah.
Women's, I mean, last one this is gonna be a while. Last woman I believe that was dominant was Amanda Nunes.
You're right about that. Wei Lee fighting this weekend. She's moving the needle a little bit. You know, she got Tatiana Suarez. That's going to be a pretty good fight. But if I was to say who's that star, man, it's got to be John Jones.
I would say he just had a fight a couple weeks ago, right?
It's got to be John Jones, and I say that because of course you have Islam Makhachev. You have a bunch of tough guys that from 140, 145, tough guys there. You have some good competition with Ilya Takura, right? He's a tough guy. But as far as that star, like a Conor or something like that, we don't really have that like that.
The guy who I like, he got knocked out last week. Is it DeSamo? Man. He's a pretty entertaining guy. He got knocked out. What happened? What did you see from that day that happened?
The thing is, like when you reach a point of success and you have failure, you're not even competing against a competition anymore. You're competing against your past greatness. And when you're competing against your past greatness, and you have these guys who are looking at you like, oh, this is my opportunity. I started my fight career. I started my fight journey. This is the guy I was envisioning. They're already coming there hungrier than you, because for them, you're that big. That's the championship. You know, even if you're not a champion, but beating you means something. It means more for them to beat you than for you to beat them. And you got to match that intensity. And when you get into the cage with somebody and you don't have that hunger like they got, that ferocity that they got because they want to they need to eat from you, then you at a disadvantage.
Do you feel it was a humbling experience for him?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I feel he's a humble guy in general. He's a humble guy in general, but yeah, it's definitely a humbling experience. Anytime that you get beat like that and you get separated from consciousness and the referee has to come in and separate you, you kind of feel victimized a bit. You know, there's a part of you that's just like for me, when I got knocked out, I always felt like, damn.
Cheap shot. It was a cheap shot. Don't worry about it.
But I felt like, damn, if the referee wasn't there,
what would happen?
He could have killed me.
Okay.
You know, and you just feel like you feel a certain kind of way. You know, you feel a certain kind of way, and you don't feel right until you get a chance to kind of fight again. Because here's the thing about it, if you get beat bad and you walking around everybody, you kind of feel like people like, oh my gosh, that dude, he got slept. You know what I'm saying? You kind of feel like people talking about you. So it kind of messes with your confidence a bit.
Well, he's always going to be known for the promo that he cut after that one fight where he gave just like very good passionate speech about, basically like don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
So I do feel he's a humble guy. Now, I understand you got something going on with Rampage here pretty soon.
Yeah.
What's that? Chat me up on that.
Rampage and I are fighting in April 12th.
You guys owe me like $60 for the first fight.
For the first fight, why?
Because nobody got knocked out. So you went to full round.
Okay, look, you get your money back this time because I'm knocking them out.
Okay. Whoa. All right, you heard that here first. So, okay, how can we watch it, number one?
Yeah, it's going to be on either we're working on a streaming platform, but it's either going to be on like Amazon or Netflix like that. So we're working.
Why don't you talk to my guy Sean Merriman? He's got lights out. There you go. See, I just booked for Sean Merriman.
Boom.
He owes me. He's going to be able to tell you what I'm going to tell him. I just booked you a fight.
We with this company called Signature Punch. This promotion called Signature Punch with Gary Lewis. They out of Tampa, and they run like the influencer kind of fighting market. They work with Misfits and all those guys.
Is that a new market?
It's a huge market.
New market that's coming?
Yeah, it's a huge market. It's a huge market. And the thing about it is, like, you have a lot of people that talk trash about, it's not real boxing and whatnot. But what it's done is it kind of put the jumper cables back into boxing. When Jake Paul came with his whole shtick, it kind of really shocked the boxing world. And it kind of like made some of these promoters pay attention. And and I feel like that's been the biggest response from Turki Al-Sheikh out in Saudi Arabia, who's been making these fights happen and making these and kind of cut through the bureaucracy of what boxing used to be.
So I'm asking you that because you got when it's time to have big fights or whatever, and these in boxing or whatever, and they say, the promoter's in the way. Could this be a way to get around promoters to get fights done, to do it the way you're saying? Like we can find somebody and just put it together ourselves with influencers or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that the new wave?
That's the new wave,
wow.
Man. That's the new wave because Rampage was trying to get it done with Shannon Briggs. That didn't end up happening. So him and I, we worked on getting a promotion that can really bring the fight to where we want to bring it to, because I went on this podcast and we talked about doing a fight in May. So we was like, let's get it done.
That's a good point, because now you see like in media. Like, it used to be back in the day, like you had to go, if you wanted to do radio or something like that, you had to go to a radio station or do that. Now you got all this YouTube and just go in there and do that now. So that could be the new realm for like boxing, who like, what's it, Bob Arum in boxing? We're like, oh man, he's messing up everything. It's like, well, you know what, forget him. Let's just go set up our own deal. So I got two fights to ask you about real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You brought up Jake. Now, apparently Jake Paul and Logan Paul are supposed to fight each other. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I seen the advertising for it.
You don't think it's going to happen?
No, I don't think so. I mean, listen, them two are competitive enough to do it.
It's too early. I think it's too early for them to do it, because I feel like once they do that, there's nowhere left for them to go after that.
Well, I think for Jake has been able to captivate people,
right?
Because he hasn't. Well, he lost to Tommy Fury, which I still can't understand, but he still captivates people because of the fact that he defies the odds, man. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no reason in people's minds why he should be doing so good, but Jake is an athlete. Jake is a hard worker, and he's been working on his craft for a while before he even jumped on the scene saying he can box.
Man, I have to give Logan Paul like all the kudos in the world, dude. I mean, you've seen a lot of cross sports athletes, but this guy, to go from like boxing into WWE,
right?
The stuff he does in WWE is so freaking amazing. This guy jumps from one end of the ring to the other one. He's flipping. It's amazing. And to wrestling is not something that you just get in the ring and just do. It takes. They'll tell you like it takes years to get that where he's at, and he picked it up like that. That is impressive.
I mean, it is impressive. Like, and that goes to speak to both of these guys. They're athletes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have a shtick of what they do, but don't get it twisted. These kids, they're athletes, man. And when I watched Logan do his wrestling thing, I couldn't believe it, because I knew he's something special on the mic because he got that ability to talk, but to watch him get down like that, man, I was really impressed. But it'd be interesting if the two of them do fight, though, man.
I just don't think there's nowhere for them to go. Now another one,
yeah.
Canelo Alvarez, and I think it's Terence Crawford. What you think about that?
I think it's an amazing fight. I feel like this is one of those fights where you like, I remember where I was at when this fight happened.
This is the next big fight.
This
is Mayweather, Pacquiao.
Yeah, it is.
This is it. And they're catching each other like right at the right time, at the right age.
Perfect stage, yeah.
So if you had to take anybody, what, Terence Crawford?
I want Terence Crawford.
I'm a Terence Crawford fan,
but
man.
I am too. I just feel like I say this because I don't know if Terence, because Canelo has that guard. He has such a hard guard to get past, and he's strong, and he's naturally a bigger guy. And I'm wondering, would the bigger size play more of an influence in a fight like this? Or would Terence Crawford, with the speed, with his ability also to be a physical fighter, can he close the gap?
He's such a tactician, man.
He is,
man. He's one of the smartest fighters I've seen in a while.
Oh, he's nasty.
I'm from Dallas, so he knocked my guy, Errol Spence.
Oh, man.
So
what he did to my dog, Errol, man, that hurt to see.
Back when that fight was going on and they were pumping it up, I was like, I don't know about this one, guys. I don't think this is a good one for Errol. I was like, this guy's real smart. He's a tactician, and he was so locked in on that fight.
I thought that Errol was gonna get him.
I never had that in my
mind.
And I went to school actually with him.
Yeah.
I never thought he was gonna get him. I was like, that fight. That's not a good fight for him.
Well, I mean, one thing that kind of took away from Errol is like those accidents that he had. The accidents that he had. I felt like that kind of blunted his. Because like when you have those accidents, that trauma to your body, it changes you, man. It changes things in general, man.
Yeah, well, okay, man. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And can you promote when is the you and Rampage fight?
Yeah, so me and Rampage fight in April in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The date is yet to be announced, and where it's going to be streamed is yet to be announced. But if you want to go and check me out on Sugar Rashad Evans on Instagram. And if you want some tasty mushrooms, lion's mane, turkey tail, reishi, tinctures, capsules, go to getumbo.com, getumbo.com, and check out what we got.
Well, before you go, I got this receipt for you.
What's
I need for the money for the first fight. I need a receipt for you. I need you to just give me that money.
I got you.
You give me that money back, I'll buy that fight.
I cash app you.
All right. I'm probably not going to have to buy the fight. I'll probably just turn on like YouTube or something, or Netflix. That's where everybody's going now, and I can just watch it. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
You,
love you, man, so much.
Love you too,